Good morning, this is Danny Daniels. Today is Sunday, June 2nd. The year is going by so incredibly fast. And we've been getting, I'm going to call it intermediate snow because this is supposed to be sunny season, but we've been getting hail, we've been getting snow. It's been some odd stuff. The weather has been quite unpredictable here in Colorado. And guess what? I like it because the summers are just too hot. I could never, ever, ever retire to Florida. It's just too hot. So I've been appreciating these thunderstorms and these and when it snows, it's heavy snow. It's the type of snow that breaks the branches off the trees. That I don't like. While it's beautiful, there's so much tree damage. I was talking to my daughter few weeks ago and she was telling me that we're running out of oxygen. There's not enough trees to support all the oxygen that we breathe up. We are so destructive. Humans are so darn destructive, which brings to mind my topic for today, which is adultery. Is it bad? Do I feel that it's bad? I've been thinking a lot about adultery for the longest time for me. I've always thought that adultery was wrong. I've never leaned into a desire or understanding for committing adultery. If you are going to ask someone to marry you and to be with you and commit to that one person, if you don't think you're capable, then you shouldn't do it. When I say I do, I mean I do and I will and I am committed. The thing is, when you commit adultery, when adultery is committed, I'm not necessarily sure that the other party, the person committing adultery, has really counted up the cost. Because if you really count up the cost, maybe you wouldn't do it. If you really count up the cost of that thing, you would realize I'm not just committing adultery against my wife. I'm committing adultery against our children. I'm committing adultery against her parents, my parents, her siblings, anyone who loves that woman. If she hurts, they hurt. And that's the long and short of it. And then, is it worth it? Was that relationship worth all that agony, all that pain, and all that grief that you brought to your family? Count up the cost before you do anything. Count up the cost. See if it's worth it. And knowing who I am, I have to accept the fact that I am an enabler. I'm an enabler, but my first and foremost desire, even above being that of an enabler, is I want to do the right thing. Sometimes it's not right to enable someone, but I don't always make the right choice. I had the opportunity to witness to this young man, and he's in the throes of an adulterous relationship. He has fallen in love with this woman who he is committing adultery with. Is this young lady in love with him? Who knows? But he is quite smitten. And so I was talking to him, and I said, you need to let that go. You're wrong for that. Both of y'all, both you and this other female, you guys are entirely wrong. And his face just drooped, and I felt so bad. I'm like, well, because not only did I say you need to back up out of that, and I saw the conviction in his face, but I followed it up with, you need to quit. You need to just stop doing that. And then I felt the conviction in my own heart. Who am I to tell this man what he needs to do? This is a grown man. I can't tell you what to do. I can make a submission to you. I could submit all kinds of things to anyone. But you cannot tell somebody what to do. That is wrong. And I feel so strongly about that everything in my head turned. Then I was no longer an effective witness, because when my brain was full frontal, now I'm sideways. So, is that what they mean when they say you're talking out the side of your head? Oh, it's talking out the side of your neck. Well, whatever I was saying was not coming forward. It was from the side because I was twisted. And then I began to look at him and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know. What do I know? I can't tell you what to do. I wouldn't recommend it. I just wouldn't recommend that you continue on this way. The sun is in my eyes and I'm trying to get this chair situated where I can see straight. At any rate, I felt horrible because I'm supposed to be ready in season and out of season to deliver a sound word to somebody if I ever had to. I failed. I failed me. I failed this young man. Because I left it at that. I left it at, I don't know, do what you do. But I wish I hadn't. I wish I had the wherewithal at the time I needed to have it to ask him to count up the costs. You know, does your wife, does she love you? Did you make her aware of it? The least you could do is tell her. Tell her you're falling out of love. And if you're so afraid to tell her that you've fallen out of love and you've fallen in love with someone else, then that means you know for a fact that you're wrong. If you can't be honest with what you're doing, and if you have no integrity behind what you're doing, that is your indicator that what you're doing is wrong. Because when I know I'm right, sound the alarm. I don't care who knows, because I know I'm right. But if I'm wrong, I'm embarrassed. I'm convicted. I don't want anybody to know. Case in point. It's talking. Yes, I'm close to my sister, so in all my videos, you might hear me make a reference. I was talking to my sister. I'm always talking to my sister. And I was talking to my sister just the other day, and something was going on with my daughter. So when I'm talking to my sister, she gives me a suggestion. Well, did you do thus and so? I got so angry with her. I said, did I tell you I did thus and so? What did I just tell you? I said that I gave her this and I did that. I didn't say anything else. And this upset my sister. She's like, I'm just trying to help you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't shoot the messenger. You know what? I'm just not going to deal with you right now. She got off the phone. And I had to sit and meditate on that and think about it. And then I thought, you know what? She's right. I snapped at her and I was wrong. I snapped at her, unbeknownst to her, because I felt guilty. She suggested that I do some research on the situation that is troubling my daughter. And I didn't want to do research. I didn't want to do research because I'm angry about what my daughter's going through. Because I have done research and due diligence in the past, and she flushed it down the toilet. I'm not going to keep helping you. I don't want to keep helping you. When I have a full plate and I begin to take stuff off that plate, don't pile shit back on it, because I don't want to see it resurface. I took it off the plate. I thought I was done with it, and I don't want to have to revisit it. So now, because you decided that you wanted to do what you want to do, now I get to be tormented with your decision. That kind of thing rubs me wrong. That kind of thing really irritates me. So when my sister asked me if I were doing this due diligence, I was very angry, because I don't want to have to do any more due diligence in this area. I don't want to touch it anymore. I washed my hands of it a long time ago. And I felt convicted and bad because I love my daughter. How do I don't know, how do I balance the thoughts in my mind when I'm thinking, okay, you love this child, but you don't want to do any more due diligence? What manner of love is that? And that's an accidental book reference, but you know, when I wrote that book was profound for me. It's really real, and it resonates a lot, not just in that book. What manner of love is this? It's really something that you have to ask yourself. It applies in a lot of areas in your life. I had no idea how much my book title just impacts everyday life. It does. Because I'm thinking, when I titled it, What Manner of Love Is This, I'm talking about the love between a man and a woman. But the dynamic is so much bigger. Just as my book is not just a work of erotic fiction. It's deeper. There's a spirituality in there, and there's a storyline, and I'm very proud of that material. I must say, I am very proud, and I would love to be able to get it in everybody's hands. I'd love to be able to get it into everybody's hands for free. I wish I had at least made the ebook for free, but I didn't know. I didn't know to do that. But anyway, yeah, if somebody asked me what book would you refer to somebody, that would be it. I would refer the book that I wrote to somebody because I believe in it that strongly. I really do. But back to my daughter. I say I love her, but I'm tired of dealing with this situation that is on her absolute threshold. But I can't beat myself up for that because I'm human. And just like she has her desires and she did what she wanted to do, I have my own desires and I want to do what I want to do. And I don't want to keep revisiting your situation. I do not. I cannot, and I will not. And it doesn't mean that I don't love her. So now that I've reconciled that in my head, and I'm no longer tormented by it because I'm entitled to feel how I feel. Sometimes people come at you and they will tell you, oh, well, you're wrong, and you shouldn't think this and you shouldn't feel that because no, that's not right. However you feel as an individual, whatever thing you've gone through that has stimulated you, however you feel is right. It's not wrong. This person may feel a different way, but however you feel is right. I love to debate. I love going to the movies and then coming home and saying, what did you get out of that? This is what I got. Let's analyze this. I love that kind of thing. When I would go to the movies with my ex-husband, we would come back with a totally different take on the same film. And that's because of the experiences that I've had in my life and the experience that he's had in his life and what he's looking for. We went to see Ray Charles, and our daughter was 9 years old. We went to see Ray Charles. In this movie, they had this scene where Ray Charles would grab a woman by her wrist. And if her wrist was thick, then for him, now I don't know if this is a true story, this is just what was in the film. Then for him, she was unattractive. If you had a thin wrist, then that's how he gauged that, you were attractive. So we're watching this scene where he's doing that. Ray Charles, at this point, he's married, but he's grabbing this woman by her wrist, and my child stiffened in her chair. And she kind of, her body just jerked and she was rigid. I felt it. Her father felt it. And we both looked at her. And then he looks up at me and I turned my head because I knew what was happening. My daughter was in anguish with that scene because she knew what it meant. Not only did she, this is what made it so, the impact so great, is that she knew what it meant in this movie. And she knew what her father had done to me. It hurt her. And she was very angry to see that part in the film. And when she looked at me, all I saw in her eyes was, why? Why would he do that? And at that point, I wanted to walk out. I wanted to just leave the theater and just be done with it. But I said, and I prayed, and I'm like, God, get me through. So for her sake, I swallowed my emotion because I was hurt seeing the question in my daughter's eyes. And that's why I couldn't, when my husband looked at me, I couldn't look at him. I'm like, I don't want to lose it. I can't afford to react. So And the scene went on, and we continued to watch the movie. And I'm thinking it's over. We're done. We're good. My little girl, after that movie in the car, she asked her questions. She wanted to know why. Her father felt really, really bad. I can't remember how he answered her, but I went home and I said, you know what? I feel dirty. I got to take a shower. I didn't feel dirty. I needed to cry. And that's where I hide. Because it was just surreal. It's just like, man, you're destroying our lives. And you don't want to get right. You don't want to do better. And I didn't want to leave him because so many, and it wasn't the whole black dynamic that there's never a black father in the home and all of that. I didn't want to leave him because I'm like, you're going to go through something in life. You know, people are people. They're going to make bad decisions and go through it. And the only way to get gold, real gold, is to go through the fire. Gold has to be refined. And I'm thinking once my relationship is refined, we're going to come out on the other end, and there's going to be nothing that can stand against us. And we'll be just united as one, and it'll be beautiful. I was fighting for that. If he was fighting, he was fighting for something else. We weren't in sync. We weren't on one accord. We had grown apart. That happens. Could I hate him because of what he did? Yeah, sure, I could choose to hate. Why? Why would you hate somebody because they fell out of love with you? It happens. No, you don't want it to happen, but it happens. The good, the bad, the ugly hits everybody. And the only thing that we have in this life that we can say is really ours, that we really have a freedom about, is really how we feel. Because you could amass a wealth and somebody else come and steal everything you got. Break into your house, steal your jewelry, everything. Because people think they're entitled to your stuff. So are you really free? What do you really have? What can you really do? Own your feelings. That's all I can say. And that's what I would recommend. That's what I would submit. Own how you feel. And know that how you feel is right. Yes, you can be redirected. Yes, you can perceive something incorrectly, and then you get more information. You say, oh, okay, well, now I feel differently. But however you feel, it's right. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that whole subject is, it's not easy. This life is not easy. Freedom, bondage, all of that. It all comes back to one thing. What's in your mind? How's your thought process? The thing that's going to motivate you is your thought process. Are you going to get angry and beat the dog for having an accident in the house? Did you get up and open the door so the dog could go out? And there's a reason why I'm saying this, because I was sharing that with someone the other day on Facebook. I was telling her how this person was very lazy and doesn't accept responsibility for their actions. But you want to blame someone else and go overboard with your anger when things aren't going your way. But what did you do to cause that situation to occur? And the example that I gave this young lady was this person in my life who had a dog, and the dog was housebroken. The dog was barking and yipping to go out, but the dog was being ignored by its owners. So the dog had an accident right by the door. And one of the owners beat the dog with the belt. That was wrong. It's not the dog's fault. The dog couldn't open the door. It's your fault. Hold your own self accountable. Own your shit. Own your bullshit. Own your fuckery. Because we do participate in some fuck shit, which I call fuckery. We do it all the time. We're messy. this is life on earth. I'm Danny Daniels. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you soon.